She was requesting time off from the experiment to
Oh!
the producers. Well, that wasn't when shit hit the fan.
Well, a lot of people in the experiment were like, why are you with Sarah? Can I sit with you?
Yes, you can sit with me. And we want you to sit with us.
It's Dom.
And Ella.
You may know us from finding love on reality TV, and by that we mean with each other.
Two best friends figuring out life.
Chatting all things reality TV, because, I mean, how could we not?
And all things in between. Sex, relationships, dating, and navigating being a female in the world.
Unfiltered and fabulous advice
From your two besties. All right, guys. Well, look, Domenica and I, we're here in the Gold Coast.
We're in the hot seat. Well, we've got the first person. Actually, we're not in the hot seat. Let's be honest,
we are
because
not.
the hot seat today.
Heating up.
It's heating up.
I'm hot already.
The hot seat's actually filled today by Tim Calwell, 31. You might know him from Married at First Sight. I don't know if you've been watching that tiny little show that's been on and we just can't shut up about. Welcome, Tim, to sit with us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And he's our first guest from this season of MAFS.
Yes, that we're
Really?
interviewing.
Oh,
So
wow,
how do you
nice.
feel about that?
I feel privileged.
Yeah?
Thank you for the
Love
honor.
that. So how are you? First of all, we were like, how are we going to start the podcast? I think the first thing we need to just ask is, how are you? How is life
Yeah.
post, filming, but post watching the show on TV? Because you live it twice, don't you?
You do, yeah. You definitely relive it, especially the heated moments.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was harder than I thought to relive a few of those times, but I'm great. I'm doing really well now.
What was the hardest bit of rewatching it?
Oh, just a lot of the, I feel like I could have definitely stood up for myself a bit more,
Interesting.
It's like I'm a bit of a peacekeeper.
Wrong show you went on then, eh?
Wrong show.
Yeah.
I've never seen it before.
Oh,
What?
come on.
When
I
people
didn't know
say
that.
that, really?
Yeah, crazy. Yeah. So I was like, it's funny because I'd never seen it. And then I was like, yeah, you know what? I'll do it. Like, it's a big show. Like, I'm open to it, to a bit of an adventure.
Yeah.
And then had the wedding. I was like, oh, this is pretty sick. They got all the filming going on. Like it was hectic. It was
It's
mad.
so
Yeah. And then the
hard to be
honeymoon
fun.
was it blew up a bit, as you guys saw.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, what have I got myself into?
Oh, wow.
And especially after the first dinner party, then I was like, okay, I need to watch this show and see what's
So
going on.
let's start from the wedding. You were married to Sarah. We had a little chat about
apparently.
Sarah.
Sarah. We said it wrong every time
Yeah.
we did our recording.
Still don't know. What does she like to be called? Do you know?
She prefers Sarah, yeah.
Okay, so
Like,
it's Sarah.
So you pronounce it in Spanish, it's Sarah. And like that was like a thing that we had, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
she's Colombian and I lived in Colombia, so I speak Spanish. I speak a bit of Spanish and I thought it'd be a cute little kind of thing we could have between us. But
Yeah.
it sort of confused everyone around us because when I was talking about her, I was like, oh, Sarah and I are doing this, this, and this. And
Yeah.
so people started calling her Sarah and then it just blew out of
Okay,
of
so
proportion,
that's
yeah.
where that all started from. So from the wedding day, you turn around. First thoughts of Sarah. What did you think on that wedding day when you saw her walking down the aisle? You got chatting to her. Obviously, the filming is very
you
like
get taken
discombobulated.
away.
You get taken away straight away.
Yeah.
How was the wedding day for you?
Wedding day was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. Like I didn't think I was nervous at all, but I think my behavior, some of the things that I was doing was a bit displayed a bit of nervous behavior vibes. Yeah, it was cool. We had a ripper day. It was insane, like we clicked straight away, got on like a house on fire and yeah, when I turned around, I thought I was like, oh, I can work with this, She had a big grin on, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
it was,
So their wedding, I was like, these guys are like a match made in heaven. Like when you guys both spoke
Yes.
Spanish,
yeah.
I was like, okay, the experts actually, or whoever matched you guys, actually did a good job.
That's
the
what we were
experts, duh.
thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Well,
Yeah.
you're always, I think you go into it, especially at the wedding, you're very, like, it's all very exciting. It's like, oh my God, yeah, this is going to be great. It's going to work. Obviously everyone's keeping positive, but then we saw, relationships aren't easy. And especially in the experiment, things do get quite heated and intense and full on. When did you start noticing that there were, I don't want to call them cracks because it wasn't really that, but it was just like you were kind of butting heads a little bit, right?
Differences,
yeah.
Oh, day 2, I think.
Why? Oh, so it was.
Well, because the honeymoon. So like you guys got married, you hit it off that night, and then they went to the honeymoon the next day, and that's when things started to
Yeah. So to be fair, maybe it was day 3.
Okay.
Because the wedding was great and we're like, both excited to get to know each other. That was cool. Day 2, we found out we're going to Fiji. So we're like, sick.
I know. So
let's
lucky,
go.
by the way.
Sick.
We didn't get that.
Yeah. So we were stoked. So it was a pretty positive vibes,
Yeah.
We're getting to know each other at the airport, off camera, and like, it was just a nice, exciting kind of feel. And then day 3, I think, was when I guess we just realized we just had a bit of differences in communication styles, maybe.
Oh, I think you made a comment at the honeymoon.
Oh, you made a
The
comment at the
relax
honeymoon
comment?
being like, relax.
Yeah, and after you said that, I'm like,
Uh-oh.
yeah.
Well, she's Colombian. We're drinking tequila, and I was like, it's fun in that
Okay.
part of the world. And we had the shot of tequila, and she was like, oh, yuck. And I was kind of like, oh, try to make a joke of it. Because before that, we were actually hitting it off, and I was flirting with her, and I was like, yeah, I'm on fire here. She's laughing at me, and things are going well. Yeah, I threw out another joke, and it just didn't
hit right.
hit right. Yeah.
No.
Interesting, because that is an interesting insight, because I feel like watching it didn't seem like you were saying relax just about like the tequila because it was, whatever. It seemed as though you was telling her to relax because she was, worked up over another thing when it comes to the relationship. So it's in like the edit does come into play a little bit there, right?
Yeah. I thought it came across that I was like, yeah, true. I didn't explain myself properly when I said that.
Yeah.
So if I had have explained it maybe it would have came across differently on screen.
Do you think
Don't
she
know.
kind of took it and ran with it though? Like, do you think she milked it?
Oh, I don't know, to be honest. Like, I feel like her personality is like fiery, to say the least. So I think that she's very serious, I think. A very serious person.
She's got like very serious eyes.
Yeah.
She's got like
scary.
Yeah,
relaxed.
no. She does have an intimidating look. And I remember there were times when you guys would have disagreements, and even I was sitting there thinking, if that was looking at me dead on in the eyes, I would not say a word.
She's got a very good face of fury. Like, if she's pissed, she'll
I
show
would call
you.
that a death stare, to be honest with you.
And it's like, as soon as you see those eyes, you're like, I'm just going to shut the fuck
Like,
up.
whoa.
I'm just not going to say anything
Yeah.
because I don't want to open that. Yeah.
So for you guys, it all kind of came to a head. It was all lovey-dovey. Oh, Tim and Sarah, they look great. Like, these two
It
could
looked
work.
And
And then
it
was
seemed
good.
genuine.
Yeah.
And then,
yeah.
ba-bow, it all came fucking crashing down because shit hit the fan. We
Shit hit
find
the
out
fan
that,
pretty quickly.
she's doing some cheekies on the side.
Yeah. Well, that wasn't when shit hit the fan.
There was, a few dates that you had locked in with her. I don't remember which one it was, but she was hungover
Yeah.
in bed. She had a night out or something the night before.
She went out, yeah. To be fair, like, I wasn't really that upset at that, Like,
Okay.
she did go out with her friends, and that's cool. Like, I'm not going to be a guy who's like, don't go out with your friends.
Of course.
You know what I mean? Like, and all of the times, because I planned 3 dates, I wanted to take her out 3 times, and all of the times, like, there was a flake,
Yeah.
but it wasn't the worst reasoning.
Mm.
I wasn't that phased by it, but I was like, well, it's 3 times in a row. Like, where's the priorities here, and what's going on? Am I going to get anything? Like, are you going to show me that you want to make it up to me and actually try this out together? Because you do spend every day in the experiment together, but it's a little bit different, like on camera, off camera. If you're off camera, you can kind of relax a little bit. And
So it was
At
the
least.
lack of effort, really.
yeah, it was just basically like, that was like almost a catalyst, because I felt like she hadn't been very kind and caring and like open to just being nice to me. And then she flaked on those dates.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like the catalyst for what came out on my end, if that makes sense,
So
Yeah.
with these dates that you tried to plan, was this to do for filming, or was this like you tried to organize something off camera with her?
No, it was off camera. Yeah.
Okay, so they
So
were
this was just like
genuine
weekend dates,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
just
yeah,
after
yeah.
filming,
Like, let's
just
go
like
do
spending
something
actually
together.
hanging out
Yeah, like
together.
I booked a paint and sip to do together.
Oh,
And I was
cute.
like, yeah, it's cute. I was like, that's
Yeah.
cute. But apparently it's not cute. Some people don't think it's cute. Right?
I mean, I feel like
Oh,
any girl.
what did she expect?
Any girl would
Dinner at
think that
Mimi's,
that's cute.
$200 a head.
Yeah.
Some shit, I don't know.
I think that's more of a vibe. for
Yeah,
sure.
I feel like
She's
that
a-
is.
Ah.
She's a fancy girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, look, we all like a bit of fancy
do,
shit,
yeah.
But it's the thought that counts, and you're in a show filming and you're trying to build what you can on camera. But to me, I felt like it's the off camera that also meant a lot.
Yeah,
because that's real. Like you're not putting on anything.
From us having done the experiment as well, we understand that, you are together filming a lot, like on camera, but also it's the moments that you are together when there's no one else in the room and you're just spending it alone. They're the moments that you really start to get to know each other. So for us as viewers now and having been in the experiment, we really love hearing about what actually goes on when the cameras aren't rolling, because that shows
the real
us
stuff. And you're a bit more vulnerable and you're like, there's less pressure, right?
Exactly.
To say the right things. And, like, that was a big thing for me. I don't know, sort of. I was like trying to make sure that I was just kind of on my best behavior.
Yeah.
So from the cancelling on the dates, and then shit started getting a bit rocky from there, right?
Yeah.
No, things got rocky on day 3.
So from day 3, you're telling me things weren't.
We were fighting. We were clawing.
Okay.
Did you feel like she just like from day 3 maybe checked out?
Yeah, well, like I'm very touchy feely. I'm like a affectionate guy. Yeah, and that was like our first problem was like on the second day, like I was putting my arm around her. We're at the airport walking around, and like I was touching her.
Yeah,
and she's Latina, and typically Latin girls love touch as well.
Yeah.
But that kind of threw her off a bit. I think she sort of got a bit wigged out. She got the ick, basically. Like she got a bit of an ick. Around that was her explanation for it. Like that was a bit touchy.
Okay.
And when I tell stories as well, I kind of burst into story, and like something comes to my head. I'm like, this. You know what about this?
Yeah. And excited about life, kind of thing.
Yeah. I'm just like an enthusiastic, like excited kind of guy, like a puppy almost. Like, and that came across a bit nervous for her. So she was like, this guy's nervous and he's touching me, and like we're in this thing together, and now let's take it slow. And that was the first kind of clash we had on the honeymoon.
Do you think she was looking for excuses though to not like you?
No, for sure. Yeah, she was definitely looking for reasons because she had walls up, and she had, everyone has their own kind of baggage, I guess, coming into the experiment.
I mean, I'm just going to ask the question, and obviously we've got a lot more to chat about, but I'm going to ask it right straight out. Do you genuinely think that Sarah was in it for real reasons, or do you think she just went on the show purely to promote herself, her business, whatever it was? So she didn't go in there with the genuine idea that she was going to fall in love, like the guy.
Yeah.
Well, it's a bit of a loaded question, but I feel like if you look at the show's historical performance and you were basing everything on actually finding love, like, I think it was like 1% of people maybe found a relationship.
It is a small percent.
Well, I mean, but yeah, I get that. But finding love and going in there with an open mind and an open heart are two different things. Like, maybe it might not work, but at least you're going to give it a go. So I'll reframe my question. Do you think Sarah was actually willing to give it a go with you for genuine reasons?
I think that it took her a little while to come around to that point.
Yeah.
So I think initially there was definitely a lot of walls up, and she wasn't really interested in, because it's kind of scary, I guess. You're just meeting some stranger and you don't know what they're like.
Yeah.
And I was like, everything's down. I'm just going to go in and I'm just going to be like a husband, like act like that. And that's like
which is what you're supposed to do.
That was like my intentions. And and she was kind of more like, all right, let's just start dating and see if we even like each other or that kind of thing. So we kind of came at it from the
Did she realize she was in Married at First Sight? Not
I know,
like
it was
dating?
a bit of a shame because we could have had so much fun, like it could have been so much fun just being like, well, we don't actually have to be like perfect for each other or anything, but we could have a little fling, like we could have had just like a 3-month fling and got along. And
well, now considering what you said, that you thought she was more like dating, do you think it, like coming back to now, like the whole thing about her catching up with her ex, and we'll get into that, do you think that's got to do with her mindset of not actually being in a marriage? It was just more like a situationship or a seeing each other. Do you not think she was actually in a committed marriage, in inverted commas, with you?
Oh, no way. No.
Wow. Yeah. See that I know Married at First Sight is a show, but like having done it and knowing
how much we actually put in and committed to it
for
those
I know
reasons.
It might sound stupid and people might laugh at it, but truly I was like fully fucking committed.
Oh yeah, hello.
Yeah, for sure. Like I think that it was just her approach, and this is the way that I sort of read it, was like she wanted to make sure that I was perfect before she would even like try and let down her walls. You know, like, so she was nitpicking.
Oh, well, you're never
every
going to
little
get
thing.
anywhere if you do that.
That's
in
not.
life.
I agree. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
nobody's perfect anyway.
Yeah.
So like,
Jesus, what do you?
And the
Yeah,
walls, I mean, I feel like you keep saying she had all these walls up. What was it? Like,
Yes.
was she just not being open, even like sharing stories and like experiences? Like,
yeah, it
what?
was really odd. Like, I think that I'm typically easy to get along with, and I like to share stories about my past, and I think we definitely were on a different planet, you know, different wavelengths.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to, something would come to my mind. Like, I'm the type of guy who's like, you're in the supermarket and then I see a watermelon and be like, oh, you know what? There was one day like my brother grew this watermelon and it was like huge, but then the bush turkeys came and ate it and like we were so upset. Like, I tell this random story.
So she'd get the shits at that.
And then that wasn't really the way that she liked to.
That's like your way of kind of bonding and like getting close
Exactly.
is sharing.
Yeah. I'm
But
trying to build rapport.
Yeah.
She
with
wasn't
that.
into sharing.
And then, well, yeah.
It's
It
like
was a struggle. It was a
different
struggle.
love languages maybe as
There
well.
was definitely communication issues, and I just feel like, obviously I don't want to put all the blame on her, but there was a lot of stiffness from her end.
And that's hard.
Yeah.
Because you're in it to try and make it work with this one specific person. And when you're being met with a brick wall,
Yeah.
it's hard. And when that
It's really
person's
hard.
not willing to break those walls down, and like you've got to give a lot. You know, it's not just take in the experiment. And
in
that's
relationships as well.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I know.
It's not
It
like,
also-
what can I get out of the relationship? It's like, what can we build together?
Yes. Yeah.
It did seem like, as a viewer, like you were really putting in the effort, you know, coming up with these date ideas, like really trying. And it seemed like she just wasn't giving you anything. Was it really like that?
It felt like that. It
Yeah.
really did feel like that. Like, I don't think that she was
Like
yeah,
at
I don't
this
think it
point,
was-
was she giving you more off camera compared to what we were seeing? Because she was giving you nothing on camera before this X thing. Like, was she giving you more off camera?
Yeah, like, so I feel like it was weird. We had this roller coaster experience, and at the start, I felt like I was getting more on camera, and
Wow.
it was, you know what, it's so weird because you're in this little bubble, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And like, it pretty much happened to me almost straight away. Within like the first week or so, I was like, what is reality? You know,
Yeah,
like it was
yeah.
just this weird bubble, and so if she was giving me like attention on camera, and I was like, oh, we're not talking really like this so much. It wasn't like dramatically swayed, but it
there
just
was a
felt,
difference.
it did feel like there was a bit of a difference. And I was like, I know I feel that, but I'm just like not going to say anything because I like the attention, and I like, actually, this is our moment to actually try and bond and get to
Yeah,
know
and that's
someone,
what you
know?
wanted. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what you went there for, right? You wanted to
Yeah.
feel that connection. You want to bond with this person.
Yeah.
But how confusing that, like, when the cameras are rolling, you're getting more from her. And then it's like when the cameras are gone, you're not getting the same in that crucial time.
Yeah, it was confusing. It was, like I said, there wasn't a massive difference, but I felt like maybe it was just in my head, but I did feel like there was a difference.
Yeah.
The experiment, like, it does different things to everyone.
Yeah.
So they,
Oh, yeah.
I'm curious, on like weeknights and weekends, how much time did you actually spend together? And would you like make dinner? Would you like do stuff together? Or were you living two separate lives?
no, I think we were pretty good. We spent a lot of time together. There was a lot of time spent together, and it was just a shame that we couldn't just kind of have chill banter back and forth. I feel like for the first few weeks, we could have just been in this light, playful energy instead of taking everything so seriously. But we did spend a lot of time together, and we got to start in the same gym, but I was like, oh, I think I want to kind of go to a different gym to have my own space. But at the start, we started going to the gym together, and, you know, like, we were definitely heavily interlinked.
So you guys got
especially
to go
on
to the
weekends.
gym.
I know. There's so many things that you
Oh,
like
you guys
to
didn't
do.
get to the gym?
No, we
Yeah.
had a gym in Sky Suite.
This is what...
one person at a time.
Oh my God, the gym in Sky Suite. We were at a 6 Sky Suites. The rooms are so sick compared
Yeah,
to what
well,
you
we had the
guys
shit
had.
Sky Suites,
right?
the old ones, and they had to bring in a gym for us.
The gym
because
was
of
really?
COVID.
The gym was in one of the rooms in the bedroom.
And we had a personal
Oh my
trainer, and then
God,
they
what?
cancelled the personal trainer.
Really? We guys in
Oh,
the same season?
yes.
Oh, that's sick.
That's where we met.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah. You'll have to go back and watch
I
some
think
of
I
our
will, yeah.
stuff. Yeah, I think you'll have to
Yeah,
now.
you know, I should have watched it. It's so dumb because I was like, there's so many things now. I'm like, I was just a fly on the wall in these dinner parties.
Oh.
If I had my time again, I would get way more involved in other people's stuff.
Yeah, actually, good question. Like, that's a good insight. Is there any regret or anything that you wish you would change about your experience in the experiment?
I think there's actually a lot of things that I probably would change. Like, the first thing like that at the dinner parties. I would kind of stay away. You know what though? Sarah and I weren't really on the same page. We weren't on a solid team, and I did feel like if we had conflicting opinions about other people's business, it would come back home with us.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, and that's never good.
Nah, it's not nice. And you don't want to I hate arguing in general. I'm not an arguer.
Yeah.
Like, it's not my
And knowing that it's going to be
speciality,
blasted to millions and millions of, TVs around the world.
But it's also
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
you hate arguing, whereas Sarah, I felt like, would be at the front of the queue being like, this is my opinion.
She's very she was born for it, like she loved to get involved in other people's stuff and call people out and like she was I think she was good for the show, I think.
Yeah, I
In
mean,
that
I'm
way,
all
yeah.
here for that. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I know I was like that on the show, and that's what it's about. Especially those
for sure,
dinner
yeah.
parties where you are there to talk about everyone's relationships. I do think that there was a certain level of like real Gossip Girl nature in this season. I don't know what it was.
Oh yeah.
I really felt that there was like this kind of mentality of like, oh my god, like what's happening.
It was so weird. It felt like
Yeah.
everyone was like sit down at the dinner party and was like so upset at everyone else, and everyone was just trying to find some way to point the finger out to some other couple just to.
Did you feel like there was teams?
Kind of felt like that towards the end. Like,
Yeah.
There were certain
I
cliques.
felt like I got along with everyone,
Yeah.
and that was cool. Like I was happily meeting everyone, getting to know everyone, while everyone else was like kind of.
I feel like the boys,
arguing.
it's kind of like that.
Oh, it's so funny. Side like little thing like we went away for couples retreat. There was a boys' night and girls' night.
Yeah.
The boys' night we all went away and it was sick. We like had a great time. Like, yeah, what do you think, boys? Like, yeah, I'm so happy that we're on this together. Glad I met you. We go back. We get out of the car. The producers come up to the car like, okay, guys, so obviously something's happened with the girls. Like this massive drama just blown up.
That's
like,
usually standard.
Yeah, crap
You'll
up,
have
hey.
to go back and watch our retreat. He's
Yeah.
got no idea what's happened, has he? He actually's got no
No clue,
idea.
nah.
Wow.
I love that you've got no idea and you're just going to be like, what the fuck when you watch it. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
Look, let's get to the real nitty gritty because I
Yeah.
need to know what the hell happened
It's
here.
also like what everyone wants to
Yeah.
know. Everyone's, keen for us to talk to you about it.
All right.
Obviously the standout was when Sarah, it came out, she was the puppy sitting, the date with the ex, got the top for
She
a hot
ain't puppy
outfit from
sitting.
Eden.
Ain't
Like,
no puppies.
ain't no puppies. Like that all came out. That was very uncomfortable to watch.
Talk us through that,
yeah.
how that was for you because us watching it as viewers, we were just like,
Like you were just like
dude.
fully genuinely shocked. Like it was genuine, like what the fuck has actually happened? Like can't believe you've done this.
I actually saw you fully just like be like, yeah, nah.
Yeah.
Like fully just
Literally,
nah,
you can
that's
see
it.
that moment
I
where like,
saw-
my
I
heart
saw-
breaks.
just like,
almost,
yeah,
like,
I
nah.
just saw you go,
and it's like,
Yeah.
oh man,
It
this
clicked.
is
You know
bad.
that edit? How it was like,
Yeah.
that's what happened. That's like a perfect
everything
edit.
just
Your
goes
ears are just
silent.
ringing.
Yeah,
like,
and then
you could
Eden
just
said
solve-
something like, I don't think Tim's even listening. I was
Yeah.
like, I'm not.
Like what were you thinking in that moment?
Oh, I was so hurt.
Yeah.
I was so hurt by that because I had been fighting, I'd been really trying to impress this girl and trying to win her over, and I've been really patient with her and thought like, look, I'm just trying to be in a relationship here. Like I said before, you're in this bubble and you're kind of just like, what is reality?
Yeah.
And I felt like my primary kind of goal was like to be in a relationship,
Mm.
regardless if I was happy in it or not, just like to
Yeah.
make a relationship
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I've been fighting tooth and nail to like impress this girl, try and be patient with her, like stay back when she needs space and, give her anything she wants. And then she went off and did that. And I was like, damn, like.
So you had no idea at all? Like there weren't any like little signs?
in
I mean, other
hindsight,
than-
yes.
Okay, and what were they? Okay, so in
Well,
hindsight.
so she did book the whole weekend away. And it was
But what do you
'cause
mean by that?
she was requesting time off from the experiment to
Oh!
the producers.
Okay, we had none of that. Like you're not allowed time.
No,
Requesting
well-
time off?
What do you
Well,
mean?
we couldn't. She didn't get it, but she was trying to get like the 3 days off because it was her friend's birthday.
So
Oh, this is
You're
what.
away
it's
from
saying.
fucking see it.
I don't know. I don't know.
sorry,
so she's
but-
going down to Kiama or something, down.
Oh yeah, she was going down to Kiama.
Yeah.
Is that a, like
That's his
a,
name.
you know?
Nah.
Oh, shit.
okay, so she requested
No, she's not
time
going down
off.
on Kiama. She requested time off, right, for 3 days or something like
Yeah.
that, because it was her friend's birthday, and
Right.
I was like, all right, that seems legit. There's no worries. But she didn't get it off anyway. And then that weekend she went out and to be fair, she came back. She came back home each
She
night.
came back after she had been playing around with her ex.
Well, yeah, I don't know exactly.
I mean,
what
of
the
course she's
story
got to
is.
come back. That's where you're living. Like this to me,
She
this
can't
is-
not come back.
I
though.
know.
Yeah, pretty much. She can't not come back. Yeah, I'm not too sure like what they get up to. Like, I'm never gonna really know. But I'm not sure if they did do anything physical. You know, like I don't want to point the finger. Like I think you know what? I have no idea.
It's a
Hang on,
hard
so
one.
still to this day, right now, you haven't really got the full picture from her about what actually happened.
Well, I've got her explanation from it.
Okay, but you don't
Yeah.
believe it.
But it's
That's
like
But
what
I'm
it
not
is.
sure. Like, come on. Like,
How do you
after the
believe
fact-
someone?
Exactly. It's after the fact she lied to me about
Exactly.
it. And, you just can't take what they say.
If she can lie to your
Seriously.
face about babysitting a fucking puppy,
Yeah.
on as well, like she's told you this off camera, so like that's a place of where you
Yeah.
should be trusting more. She can lie to you about that straight up, and you believe her so innocently and easily. She could easily lie about anything else. I personally feel.
I think so too. Like, exactly. And so that's
Yeah.
why anything that comes after, that's why like trust is such a, integral part of any kind of relationship. And once it's broken, it's so hard to fully mend.
So was that
Very.
the straw that broke the camel's back in your relationship at that moment? Like obviously you just spoke about that you'd had like, to be rough and you're trying, she's pushing back. And then this happens and you're like, dude, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Did you guys go home separately?
Yeah.
You did, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I
right.
kicked her out of the apartment. I was
Yeah.
like,
Because then the next day he wrote leave
Yeah.
at the commitment ceremony. She wrote stay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
like it
Yeah.
was so weird because I was enjoying my time on the show, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah.
I was like, this show's pretty cool, even though it's like messed up. It's just like a cool experience.
Yeah, it is.
Well, it's an
And,
experiment, right? You're really putting yourself out there and doing
Yeah.
something
You're being
weird.
tested and
Yeah.
challenged,
Yeah.
and you're learning so much about yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool. So I called her the night before and I was like, I have to leave, right?
Mm.
You know?
So you
And-
called her before that commitment ceremony, the commitment ceremony where you wrote leave?
Yeah. Yeah. I was
And
like,
you
I have
told
to
her.
write leave.
Yeah. And what was
Yeah.
her response to that?
I can't remember exactly how it went down with the conversation, but I know that I was like, if you want to try and make it right, like fight for me, try and make it right,
Okay. Yeah.
So I did say that to her.
So at that point, you were still willing to like, look, if you're going to fight for me, we can keep going.
I'm
at
still
this.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I think I was just caught up in the experiment, like I was like, I don't want to leave the show. That's what it was.
Mm.
Do you
Like,
regret that now?
I think so, a little bit. Like I think that not so much, but I think that it probably would have been better if I had just fully left then and there, like
Mm.
for my peace of mind and clarity.
Do you feel as though you've gotten a bit of backlash from viewers being like, why did you stay with her when she like this, emotional cheating and all of this kind of stuff?
No, I haven't. I don't think so. Like I'm actually not really heavily into social media anyway. So like I check it out here and there, but
Oh,
I
that's a
haven't.
good thing, I guess.
You're not
Yeah.
like reading the comments. You don't really know what's going on.
Not really. It's
That's
too,
great.
I don't have enough time for that. You
Mm.
know, like she was trying throughout the whole period. She was trying in her own way. Like
So
she was-
after the
even
cheating
before
thing,
that,
okay,
like
yep.
we were both trying in our own ways, and we just weren't able to make it work. And to be honest, like I felt like she was treating me like rubbish. For
Yeah.
the first like 6 weeks, I was like, this chick, like who does she think she is? And like,
Yeah.
I'm not asking for that much either.
Mm.
Yeah.
And so I was like, all right, she's treating me like shit anyway. But every week I could see little bits, like because she got grilled by the experts a lot. Like
Yeah.
it was like week in, week out, there was certain but she did improve on it.
Do you think she was
Nice.
breadcrumbing you though?
No, I don't think so.
I don't know
Uh-uh.
why. And like, look, every time I was watching it, every time we'd do our MAFS recaps, we had dot points. And look, I had nothing to say about Sarah anymore. I got like really over talking about her. Not you, because I like from the get-go, I was always like, Tim's genuine. He's a good guy. He's kind.
Fun
He's-
loving.
He's trying. He's putting in the effort. Like this chick's just taking him for a ride. Like even sometimes the smiles that she was pulling, I was like, that's not even a real smile. Like I just wasn't connecting
Yeah.
with her whatsoever. Like I just
Yeah.
wasn't. And from the whole ex thing to then you guys fight for me, you wanted her to show up and wanted her to put the effort in. We could see that as viewers that she really was, but I don't know why.
Mm.
I never thought that it was real, even though that you guys were being intimate and like close, and it looked playful, and all of a sudden there was this massive shift of like, what the fuck, these guys are like amazing. Even though you looked amazing and like it looked like it was going somewhere, I still from that point felt like it was not real.
This was after the cheating
Yeah,
scandal?
after when you guys like just somehow
Just clicked.
fucking-
Yeah, it was
let's-
weird. It was so weird because it happened at the retreat, right, which is before the cheating came out. And I said something to Jack. I just stood up for Sarah basically, and that like flicked a switch in her that she was like, oh, this
That's
guy's...
right.
Yes.
She wanted you to be that person.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she wanted you to stand up
she
for her or
needed-
something. Fight.
Yeah,
She needed to
pretty
know
much, like-
that you were going to have her back. She was
Yeah,
like, if
yeah.
I'm going to go for these guys tonight, I need you to have my back. And then you did. And then
Mm.
she was really drawn to you after that.
Yeah,
And I
and
did feel like that was genuine.
But then
That-
she went and caught up with her ex.
Well, she did that. She caught up with her ex before the retreat.
Oh,
But it came out after.
Yeah, and so you know, we were flying to the retreat because it was up in Byron, and she was off, and I was on the Monday, which is like the weekend right after when she went and caught up with her ex.
Right.
So now, like what I was saying before, was like in hindsight, noticing that I was like, why is she off? This is so weird. We were kind of like, she was just in such a weird place,
Mm.
and like now it's pretty obvious
Makes
why.
sense.
She just went and caught up with him and just got herself more confused.
did she ever say to you why she caught up with him? Like, I know she kept saying, "Oh, we're just friends," but
Yeah, she reckons they're just friends.
I
but,
don't
like,
believe that you're friends with your ex.
ain't-
Like, that's
ain't
a load
no
of
chance,
bullshit.
no.
I just don't think, like I have had that. I have been friends
It doesn't
with
work.
exes,
I'm telling
but
you.
you don't,
Yeah.
you cut the friendship when you've got a new relationship,
Yeah.
I think. Like that's just what you do.
It's
unless
like
you've got a
it's
kid.
not a friend. It's either a fuck buddy
Yeah.
or
there's unfinished business.
or you still got
Exactly,
feelings.
Yeah.
So they had that weird thing going on for years.
Yeah,
It-
that's right.
It was years, 5 years, yeah.
That is not healthy.
Which I didn't think so. And I feel like she brought that into our relationship. I like to sort of play psychologist sometimes.
Yeah.
And I was like, this girl is just after someone who's unavailable. Because he was in another relationship while they were like catching up with each other and having
Well,
this
was
weird
he in a
thing.
relationship or was he not? Because
He
her
was.
story changed.
Yeah, her story did change.
Well, from what I know, that this guy was in a relationship and she was seeing...
Him while
She
he
was-
had
So
a young
he
young
was
brothers.
doing the wrong thing by
They both
catching
did.
up,
Yeah,
and
they
she
both
was
did
doing the
it.
wrong. Jesus Christ, sounds like they deserve each other, to be honest.
nightmare material.
Yeah.
For a number of years.
Wow.
So then she
Oh.
told me that on, I think that, I don't know if that came out probably, but she told me that on cameras.
Oh.
And I was like, whoa, that is actually seriously concerning.
That's
Yeah.
concerning
You know,
behavior.
red flags.
yeah, yeah. So her relationship with that guy, like, I actually have no idea because I've never been able to be friends with an ex personally.
No.
But I know a
Mm.
few people have maybe been able to do it. Like,
It's very rare.
yeah. And like he's part of their friend group. So they were all
That's
hanging
right.
out as friends.
Oh,
That's right.
you know,
I
yeah.
think that's just an excuse.
It was
to be
all a
honest
bit.
with you.
It was sort of all a bit convenient for me. Like you
Mm.
know, it might have been the truth, but also at the same time, you know, I don't want to be caught with my pants down again. Like I don't want to act all naive and just be like,
Yeah.
just take her word for gospel now. So
Now, look, we've heard through the grapevine that there were a few couples this year that had certain arrangements, agreements, if you want to call it that.
Mm.
We know of another couple that definitely had an arrangement or an agreement from the very start.
Mm.
But we've heard little birdies told us that there was
So many birds.
a lot of birds, eh?
lots of fucking birds, really bright and colourful ones too.
Rainbow lark.
That you know that there was some kind of pact, or you know there was a decision made at some point in the experiment that you were like, all right,
Let's just stay
Let's
together
just stay.
to the end.
to the end, yeah.
Well, like we weren't in an arrangement or anything. Like John and Lauren, you obviously would have heard about them,
Yeah.
right? And their thing was like, Lauren came in on the second day and was like, "I'm seeing a guy in Bali," you know, and yeah.
I mean, look,
Anyway, yeah. So
we don't.
that was
I
their-
don't read the media. That's probably in the media.
Well, I'm
'Cause
sure
we-
Jono will confirm that.
Yeah.
for sure. And so he kept that on lock for the whole time. And I was like, I want to tell everyone. I was like Laura was treating him like shit.
Yeah.
You know?
we
I was
knew
like,
that
bro,
too.
this girl's not treating you right, man. Why are you like, he literally let everyone else's secrets go except for the one person who he shouldn't have been loyal to.
It's interesting that he decided to air everyone else's dirty laundry, but what he was sleeping on himself would have been the
Yeah.
biggest.
I know.
Like-
But it's like, what was in it for him?
Yeah, that's something I
know?
can't wait to
so
ask
they
him.
had their thing going
Yeah.
on. Yeah,
Yes.
Sarah and I didn't have an arrangement, you know, like
Okay.
Okay,
like the closest thing to an arrangement we had was like the cheating scandal happened. And then I was like, look, I want you to fight for me.
yep.
And got on good terms. Like, all right, let's make it to the end. Like, keep this going.
Mhm.
And it was more of kind of like a take it day by day thing together, but let's at least try and make it to the end. It wasn't like, I don't know, it's hard to explain. Like, so there was that conversation, but there was still emotions involved.
Yeah. I've been told that like she was saying things like, I want to be the it couple. Like, this is what I know I need to do to be the it couple. Was that ever something that she said to you?
No, she didn't ever say that to me. But I think that in both of our kind of naive arrogance, we thought that we were the it couple because there was all this, we were always like, not like, I don't know, like kind of because there was so much ups and downs and we were like, oh, we've got this. We actually had a story, like
there was
no
a
one
journey
else had a good story. Yeah, everyone else was such bullshit. Like Lucinda and Timothy were just like never going to make it. Like, Tori and Jack had it. They were pretty good. Like Tori had Jack's back. Like she was like loyal as hell.
We're very excited to interview them later.
Yeah. But I mean, not really anyone had like a nice journey of like Cass and Tristan. They like
weirdest pairing.
They couldn't even hold each other's hands. It was, I don't know.
What was with that?
I don't know. So in terms of like Tristan was working through some stuff, and I love them both. I love everyone, to be honest. Like I don't have anything against anyone on the show, but Sarah and I thought that we had a pretty good story because we actually were trying in a relationship. Yeah. Like we were genuinely trying, when the experts told us to do something, like we didn't do it all the time, but we like tried and we were looking for what each other needed. So we did think that. Yeah, we were like, yeah, fuck yeah, this is going to be sick because they're going to show our journey.
Yeah. When I started to like really disconnect to Sarah, it was when you guys just became like this fairy tale ending. And I don't know why. I
think it's because we could see something in Sarah. Like we just couldn't get past the fact that she'd caught up with the ex, hidden it from you, tried to keep it a secret, all of this shit. And then it seemingly looked like to us as viewers, why not? I'm speaking for Ella and I, that you were just kind of letting it slide. And it was like, no, Tim, but you're better than this. Like, come on, can't you see?
Yeah, and it's all a bit too convenient. Like the whole situation.
So that she became so perfect.
Yes.
Like for you to kind of finish the experiment.
Yeah, it wasn't like we were getting along, We were finally getting along. After all of that, like we were finally able to laugh together and flirt together. Like my mindset around it, I was like, I'm enjoying my time. We're having fun together. Like I don't really care about much else right now. Like I'm enjoying having fun on this experiment. It's a weird experience and we're actually enjoying each other's company. Like that was okay. That was good enough for me. I wasn't like, all right, I'm going to marry this girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. You were just living in the moment.
I was living in the moment. Exactly. Yeah. And it was nice to be able to finally not, because things got really heated a lot of times,
Oh yeah. I mean, like when she would pop off and like the night that she was yelling about the cheating and that whole thing,
screaming
like that was like absolutely wild.
It was awful to watch, wasn't it? It was kind of, it wasn't very nice behavior. Like, and there was a lot of elements of there was a lot of narcissistic behavior. Like I don't want to label anything, but throughout what I've experienced.
Yeah. Well, this is about your experience. So, I mean, I don't want you to sit here and be like, oh, I'm trying to, I don't want to
protect or sugarcoat. Like,
no, exactly. It's not about sugarcoating. It's like we want to know what your experience was and what you felt in that moment. Because what we saw, like it made us feel uncomfortable watching it.
It was hard.
I mean, from your perspective, sitting there and having to witness that, see that, feel all those emotions, like we don't want you to sugarcoat that shit. Like we want you to tell us exactly.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of like, I don't have anything against her. We're on pretty good terms now, so I don't want to be dragging through the mud. But my experience is my experience, and it wasn't fun. Like the first 2 months were horrible, and like you saw stuff on camera. Like imagine what happened off camera.
Yeah,
So
did she ever apologize to you?
She did. To her credit, she actually did. She reached out while it was kind of being aired, and she apologized to me about how she treated me. Okay. And that was nice to get, because there was an element of humanity behind that.
So as of right now, where do you guys stand? Let's just clear the air there. Like what is the relationship, or where do you, what's it like?
It's not, I mean, there's no bad blood, but I think that I have been a bit scarred by the whole experience. Like I don't have anything against her, and like if we see each other out, like that's cool, but yeah, like I think we're amicable friends. I guess you'd say that. I'm in another relationship now, and I want to respect that. So I don't really,
of course,
I'm not doing the whole friends with my ex thing.
Yeah, no. Oh,
and don't blame you with that. That's totally fine.
So you got to Final Vows. and obviously you guys stayed together. But leading up to that, there'd obviously been a conversation that you had with Jono at the gym. Everything fucking happens at the gym, apparently.
At that gym. It was a good gym.
Seriously, mate.
Yeah, it was a sick
They should
gym.
put
Like,
cameras up and have
they
full
should've,
Big
yeah.
Brother
Imagine
that
if they
shit.
gave us like the little, like some kind of dash cam.
Yeah.
format.
MAFS uncut, like MAFS after hours.
So
Yeah,
what
that
was
was-
that conversation? Because when Ella and I were watching the reunion and, you know, that conversation came out that you were still having thoughts and you could have gone either way. I'm like,
That's fair enough.
That's fair enough. That's what Final Vows are about. You've got to weigh up your options.
Yeah.
So for us, we were kind of like, well, why is she pissed off about this? But what actually was the conversation about?
So this actual conversation happened here in Goldie. It wasn't in the gym with Jono. Yeah. And I said, I said if I had more time, I might have gone with a different decision.
Yeah.
Because the deliberation week, like it's supposed to get a week, I had like 4 hours to write that speech.
Oh
'Cause,
my
like,
God.
I did have time. They flew me up to Gold Coast.
Yeah.
And then they flew me back down because Sarah went to Bali for her 30th. And so she wanted to be in Bali. Like the Final Vows was like the Friday and then Bali was like on Sunday or something like that.
Right.
So we kind of had ours pushed forward.
Right.
And so I had to fly up to the Gold Coast, spend the night here, do some filming. You know how it goes. Like when you're moving around and stuff, it's pretty chaotic. You're doing all these boxies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't actually have my own time to think about stuff.
Yeah. And to
then I
come
had-
to a conclusion about what you wanted to say and how you wanted to.
And like, and I was super confused anyway because I was like, I could just like, to be honest, I was like, I could dump her in spectacular fashion. You know, I could do that, and that could be like a nice ending for me.
Yeah.
But then I was like, oh, we're in a pretty good place at the moment. Do you want to do that? Anyway, so I only had like a few hours to think about it.
Wow.
And so I was like, oh, it's easy to just like, let's finish this thing strong.
Yeah.
You know, like we were in a really good place. I
Yep.
was living in the moment, you know. And but I told Jono after it, I was like, oh, I'm not too sure. I was sitting a bit off with me. I don't know, you know, like if I had more time, I might
So
have
she was
made a
in
different
Bali
decision.
at this point.
She was in Bali. Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
she was in Bali.
Right.
She didn't invite you to go to Bali.
She did invite me. Like
Okay.
she had a little girls trip. Yeah, we were on good terms. She had a little girls trip and her birthday. She invited me on the back end of that, like to come for the last couple of days.
Right.
Yeah, I did not end up going to that, but
Before Final Vows, did you tell her what you were going to do? Like, did you guys communicate that?
yeah, I think we were both like, we did speak about it.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
It's like, that's what, I didn't with mine, but most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Most
didn't.
do.
I didn't talk about it with Jack, but
No.
I know a lot of people do. Well,
Mm.
that's so that's interesting to know that you were actually in a good place
Yeah.
at that point. So, but I really still do understand why you said that to Jono because
Well, I mean, you were venting to a mate. Like, you
Yeah,
probably
for
didn't think
sure,
it was
like-
going to come out.
I didn't think it was going to
Yeah,
come
like,
out. I'm
what?
Bro,
Yeah. Fully, you told him in
what the hell,
confidence.
man. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I understand that it's like you're deliberating. It's like it's
Yeah.
a fucking big deal.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
Jono obviously, from what it looked like, he said it to kind of get the attention off him and his situation at the dinner party, the reunion.
No, he didn't. He actually told people before the reunion. He told Jaden and a few of the Gold Coast crew because they were like
Yeah.
asking like, what the hell is Tim doing with Sarah still?
Right.
He thought that I was going to sort it out at the reunion or something like that, you know?
So were you saying that a lot of people in the experiment were like, why are you with Sarah? It was
it was
were a lot of
pretty-
people thinking
well,
that?
like just the way that she was treating me, particularly for the first, 6 to 8 weeks, people could see it. You know, it's not like
Especially Cassandra. Cassandra had a lot to say
Yeah.
about
Could
Sarah.
see it,
And
yeah.
I have to ask you about this
Yeah.
because for us, when we saw the interactions at certain points throughout the experiment, we're like, what is there missing here? Like, what haven't we
What does
seen?
Cass know that
what
we
does Cass
don't?
know?
Because she,
That's-
she was the one, and it was so random for her to
Yes.
be the one person to say, no, like, you're full of shit.
Yeah.
And we're like, where is this coming from? Why is it coming from Cass?
Yeah.
What was
she
there
was-
that we didn't see?
I don't know, to be honest. Like, I think that Cass and I got along pretty well.
Yeah.
And it was a shame because I kind of had to terminate that friendship in a way because she didn't get along with Sarah and I was there for Sarah. So, I was like, all right,
Yeah.
my priority is Sarah. I don't want to.
Maybe girls have a sixth sense with that kind of shit.
I think so. And like Cass and I had a good energy together and she's a lovely girl,
Yeah.
and I think that she could see the way that effort that I was putting in
Mm.
and probably maybe she could relate to it a little bit. Like with her and Tristan, they were struggling in their own struggles.
Like, Cass went pretty hard. She was like, you're as fake as at the reunion.
It just
Oh my God. There's some stuff that went down as well that you didn't see on the camera. Like,
well, tell us,
Oh.
obviously.
Tell us something. Because we know how long those nights go
Trust
for.
us. Like,
We
hello,
know.
we've been there.
Yeah. One of those dinner parties, there was a where Cass sort of came out. Sarah's not happy about it, you know, and there were some names called, and it's I'm surprised that they didn't show it really, because it would have made for more drama.
Well, tell us.
Like
know?
what?
You got to tell us.
Oh, I don't want to throw anyone under the bus. Just drink the water.
I mean, like, maybe
Hey,
they'll
Ask Jono,
understand.
he'll tell you. He'll
Yeah.
straight up tell you.
Look, if it's
Yeah.
See, this is the thing. Like,
You're not throwing anyone under the
You're not
bus.
throwing
Like, you're
anyone
here
under
to
the bus.
share.
if people have said that shit, it's like, yeah, only because it didn't get actually aired in the episode doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Yeah.
If anyone knows, we know because we've been there.
Obviously, they pick and choose what they want
So
to
what was
air.
it? Come on,
Ask
come
Jono,
on,
he'll
Tim.
tell you straight up. Like he won't have a hesitation. But
I'll fucking call Jono right now.
call him up.
Where's my phone? Can you get it for me?
Yeah.
I'm calling Jono because
All right, guys, that's part 1 done. Stay tuned, though. We've got part 2 coming, and you're going to want to hear it.
tomorrow on Sit With Us,
She's terrifying.
you felt like you were walking on eggshells.
It was a piss take in terms of that.
Pretty much the worst person she's ever met.
I
It
didn't.
was on the show.
We missed that.